I can still see their angry faces as they stormed the manor. But I was dead before they found me. And the letter was on its way.
Same. Okay, welcome back. It seems that our infestation level has gone back up too high. So we're gonna have to deal with that at some point. I think first thing what we're going to do is try and take on the formless flesh. We don't have a sacred scroll yet. I'm going for a slightly gimmicky team composition this time. The double Houndmaster does mean that the dog treats don't stack, which is sort of annoying.
The spasmodically squirming, braying, and snorting half-corpses were heaped each upon the other until at last I was rid of them. The warrens had become a landfill of snout and hoof, gristle and bone, a mountainous, twitching mass of misshapen flesh fusing itself together in the darkness. The thing is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
So I believe that I've said before that I consider the Formless Flesh to probably be the hardest standard boss in the game. That's mostly due to the fact that, due to its unique composition, it gets 4 actions per turn, which is a lot of actions, actually.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
The reason I'm taking 2 Hound Masters is that Hound's Harry does a lot of damage against this boss. Bleeding in general is really good. And with the Hag's Ladle, I should be able to reliably blight it as well.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Everybody here either has some form of self-heal, or it can be topped off by the flagellant. So it is a bit risky to roll without really a dedicated healer, but I sort of know what I'm doing.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Oh, nice. We got a secret room. We could camp.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
But we do have
Paid
a fairly
for in
powerful
blood.
damage up buff until camp, so I'm gonna try it this way.
ever expanding. This horror must be unmade.
Holy water is pretty useful in this fight. Because pretty much all of his offensive moves
Powerful blow.
will inflict some sort of status. Undulating Invasion is one of his nastier moves. It does a lot of damage and it can inflict blight, but like I said, we have taken steps to avoid that.
Singular strike.
This is sort of an experimental composition. I might have to bail if things get too hairy.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
My Flagellant is oddly enough kind of my cheap healer here. Next turn I should probably apply my Holy Waters again.
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire. Impressive.
This is not the most expedient way to do this, but I wanted to try it.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves. A hand's breadth from becoming unwound. Its destruction is a small consolation, given the implications of its terrible existence. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
That looked a lot worse than it was, I think. Eat some food, you'll feel better.
huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Sadly, I don't have a way to remove mortality debuffs with this party, but it should be fine. I'm only going to the secret room and then I'm probably going to bail.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. The light, the promise of safety.
I mean, it's not impossible. Alright, let's try this room battle, and if it goes poorly, we can just leave.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear. Quickly the tide turns.
He drummed really hard at me. Stop! Don't bully the Plague Doctor. She's kind of a nerd. She gets it a lot.
Well struck. Annihilated.
That was slightly overkill, but I'll accept it. What do I think is the most powerful class? It's a good question. Powerful is sort of an odd way to phrase it, because raw power isn't always the best thing. But if we're just speaking power in like just terms of general usability and ability to get you out of things, I would say that the Houndmaster is definitely up there.
Death by inches.
He has probably the most reliable stun in the game.
The slow death.
He has a mark that also reduces
Unforgiving.
protection. And Hound's Rush also synergizes with the mark, so he actually has pretty high damage potential, along with the doggy treat. He can heal himself, He can also bodyguard, which is fairly rare. He even has a stress heal if you need it. So I feel like just in terms of...
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Not going wrong with putting this character in your party. I think the Houndmaster is pretty high up there.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
I think that a case could be made for the Flagellant being extremely strong. He does have a couple of limitations later in the game. Bleed resistances get higher. His damage doesn't scale hugely well. He becomes more utility in champion dungeons, I've found. But just his low health abilities are both so strong that I think that he is definitely up there. Another candidate I would...
Strength, purpose, and peace.
This is really cruel because I don't have a man-at-arms.
In the focused mind.
Fucking rest in peace, my man-at-arms. Died to the wield and no reason. Can I just recruit this guy? No, I don't think that any man-at-arms has actually shown up on the stagecoach the last couple weeks, which is interesting, and by interesting I mean fuck off. Alright, we are completely done with the Warrens, and the trophy for the flesh is the flesh's heart, which grants a pretty impressive 50% bleed resist and plus 15% max HP. It's a good... This is actually probably a really good trinket for the courtyard. I mean, it's always safe to assume that I've been negligent in something, so I might have just missed it. We haven't actually found many invitations yet, or I would actually probably go into the courtyard and scout it out, but... I hope you like that noise. I'm going a little bit hard on trinkets that cause extra stress, because the Crusader can heal that fairly easily with Inspiring Cry. I'm gonna take some of the blood along just in case. I feel like I've had uncharacteristically good luck with not catching the Crimson Curse, so I should come prepared. The Shield Breaker is a very interesting class. I feel like that she is very powerful.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar. Now, foreign.
And a lot of that power comes from the fact that she can do things that pretty much no other character can.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Continue the onslaught.
Her armor piercing and guard bypassing abilities just don't really have an analog. So, in that case, I think I brought the blood. In that case, she's very powerful because she can do something that basically nobody else can in bypassing protection. And her camping skill that gives everybody armor piercing is really good too. Of course, that does come with drawbacks. Jesus.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
The first 7 times you bring her on a camping dungeon, you do have to do a snake fight, and those can be pretty damn hard. Yeah, armor piercing means piercing protection. It's not very well communicated.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Seize this momentum. Push on to the tasks and...
Pierce. Pierce has native armor piercing, which just means it ignores protection entirely, which means that enemies like the Pelagic Guardian and the Sea Maggots are really easy for her to kill when other characters take forever to do it. So at very least, it's good to have a shield breaker for the Cove.
The light, the promise of safety.
She also specializes in blight skills, which is fairly rare, and also makes her good for the Cove. I think the Shieldbreaker is basically like a class where the developer said, okay, everybody hates the fucking Cove, let's do something about it.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Armor piercing in general is like, not armor piercing, protection in general is sort of not well loved by the community, because
Decimated.
prior to the shield breaker, there just weren't very many ways to deal with it.
Obliterated.
Like, you basically had dots, and you could bring along the bounty hunter or the hound master to try and reduce it with the marks. But the problem with that was either dot resist or debuff resist would go way up in higher difficulty, so it became harder and harder to actually reliably get through protection without it taking 5 years.
In Radiance, may we find victory. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
We definitely need to take that
Remind
invitation
yourself
with us.
that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I imagine I'm going to need at least 2 to get through the Countess's courtyard.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Annihilated.
So, back on the subject of what do I think the most powerful class is in general, I think that the Hellion actually deserves at least a spot in that conversation. The Hellion has a lot of raw power, especially if she buffs herself up with Adrenaline Rush, which also has the added effect of being a fairly reasonable self-heal and, more importantly, a dot removal. But the thing about the Hellion that's really good is just her ability to hit basically every rank ever.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
I probably won't need anti-venom in the ruins. It's not like we're fighting the Prophet. I might come back to this chest later. I'm sure that we will find more inventory space eventually,
purchase,
once we go through some
spirits
food
are
in camp.
lifted, and purpose is made clear. returns even the boldest gaze. Eradicated.
Like, basically, when you have Wicked Hack, Iron Swan, and If It Bleeds, along with Adrenaline Rush, you have really good damage options against every enemy rank of every kind. Like, I guess the Hellion can sort of suffer against high protection enemies, but she does have a bleed, and she does have a self-damage buff, so she can get through it eventually.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. As victories mount, so too will resistance. Unnerved, unbalanced. The ground quakes. Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Christ alive!
Death is patient. It will wait.
That was like 3 critical hits in a row. Come on now. Well, on the bright side, I do have means to mitigate all of this.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
That could have gone better, but it could have gone
nightmarish
worse.
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Cruel machinations spring to life
Right.
with a singular purpose.
Sometimes the game just kind of picks a character and says, fuck you. I don't think I've ever seen this configuration before.
Destroyed.
It is extremely, underwhelming. Like, the annoying thing about this now is that, I'm gonna have to wait to kill this guy for him to unstealth. And if you wait too long with just one enemy, they will start calling in reinforcements, so that can be a problem.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
I think we might want to camp now. I would like to remove this mortality debuff.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Now, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm terribly mistaken, a snake fight is coming up. Therefore, I didn't need to use a prevent ambush skill.
Firelight fades. Ghastly memories gather their strength.
So I used to think that these battles were timed, and they sort of are, but the timing is, not what you expect. I believe that once the shield breaker gets on death's door, the fight ends automatically.
Ringing ears, blurred vision. The end approaches. Precision and power.
There's also the consideration that we need to try and keep her from becoming afflicted. I might just have Renauld on Inspiring Cry duty. Buy ourselves a little time. Now, Inspiring Cry will help keep things from spiraling out of control, but it's not like we have infinite time because her stress will outpace my healing. So we should start killing this guy soon. Unfortunately, he keeps stunning all my damage dealers.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered. Those who covet injury
Well, whatever.
find it in no short supply.
Got a couple of unlucky crits in that fight, so it's not like it could be helped.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
At least when she's afflicted, she stops gaining stress, so we don't have to worry about a heart attack.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Oh boy, that's quite a haul. So for the 6th victory, we get the Obsidian Dagger, which is a set trinket, like the ones you find in the Crimson Court. Let's see. What should I ditch? What should I ditch? Now that that fight is over, we probably don't need the bandages. Eat your damn food.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Hopefully we won't have to bail out of this mission. But given our current haul, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we did. Yeah, I'm coming back to the major treasure rooms later when I have more inventory space. We might not actually have enough food to camp again, which is unfortunate.
Well struck.
Also, Impale is like low-key a really good ability.
to a killing blow. Perched at the very precipice of oblivion. Dazed, reeling, about to break. Compassion is a
Great,
rarity
wonderful.
in the fevered pitch of battle. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
So things are going a little sideways. It's okay.
A decisive pummeling. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
We're largely okay. Largely. God, we have a lot of rooms to go. Hopefully, we either find some food at last. Hopefully we either find some food soon, or we get a couple of gimme battles that I can use to heal and de-stress a little. Alright, well, if we at least get to the secret room, we can make this a net gain.
Devastating blow.
Alright, now that the Bone Bearer is dead, this becomes a lot more tenable. In fact, I might just keep these two alive for a while. They do not have an awful lot of damage potential. Well, she is both a shield bearer and a shield breaker. Do that, do that, do that.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
I got hit with a stick. Alright, so the important thing right now is to keep Zelen 2.0 from becoming afflicted. Then once stress for everybody else is within acceptable parameters, we can start working on de-stressing the shield breaker. Of course, now that Zelen 2.0 is bloodlusted, we basically have 2 afflicted people to worry about. Not very riveting, but it has become necessary, sad to say.
The blood quickens.
Of course, since masochistic characters often refuse heals, actually de-stressing her is going to be difficult. So here's a little trick that you might find useful in your adventures here. If you get an enemy encounter down to 1 enemy that is not champion size, then if you stall too long, they will start calling reinforcements. However, if you just leave 2 alive, they will never call reinforcements and you will not suffer undue stress damage. This becomes quite helpful later on in the darkest dungeon proper.
Compassion is a rarity in the fever.
I don't like doing this. It's boring. It's probably not fun to watch. It feels cheesy, but I don't know. When the shield breaker like denies healing 3 times when on death door, what else can you do except take extreme measures?
wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I got pretty lucky with this configuration. Battle is a rarity in the pitch of excessive compassion. Yeah, kinda. I'll stab a dude. Just to make you feel better.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear. Sedated.
Fuck off! I guess this is my karmic punishment. Whatever. Moving on.
Strike. Impressive. Success so
I
clearly.
don't fucking have all day.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
I'm trying to light a fucking torch. Shut up. Honestly, in most situations, masochism is not the worst affliction. It's probably one of the tamer ones. It makes you refuse heals a lot, yes, but if you're just sort of in the situation where you're getting passively stressed out by like stressful incantations and what have you, it's actually fine because it doesn't usually interfere with that character's ability to fight effectively. They will usually listen to your orders, as long as that order is hit somebody. Both died of light, so stress. Fuck off. Stress heal. I will say though, characters refusing heals is super fucking obnoxious.
Masterfully executed.
This expedition at least promises success.
Alright, this is starting to get a little difficult to manage. You don't have that many rooms left, fortunately. This isn't actually that good of a trinket. It was just worth more than a stack of gold, but now that I have another jute, it goes in the pile. Do I dare camp? I don't think you can get more than one snake fight in one mission.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
I usually don't do this, but we're a little strapped for food, so we're just gonna go ahead and eat just the full portion. Alright, so Shieldbreaker is still fucked up as hell, but at very least, everybody else is fine now. It's a statue! What are you gonna do? Beat somebody over the head with it? Oh boy.
A powerful blow.
That bone bearer needs to die right quick. He has really high move resistance, so I don't think that'll actually do much, but it's damage. I wonder if there's like a name for those stripy poofy sleeves he's got. They're goofy.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Jesus, more jute. I mean, I can't complain, but that's a lot of jute. I don't have holy water, so this probably isn't worth it, but... Oh, that's good. Claustrophobia is nasty. Alright, at this point, success on this mission is basically a race against hunger checks. We can probably survive one starvation check. But that's a lot of stress damage, and I'd like to avoid that when possible. One way to sort of deal with the bone bearers, sort of, is to get them out of position into the front row. Because they only do the very non-threatening protect the icon when they're there.
Sedated.
I need to be soothed and sedated after this mission.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Well, it was, very touch and go, but we managed to complete it.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home. The great ruins belong to us, and we will
got a snazzy
find
coat out of
whatever
it.
secrets they hold.
Also a casual 30,000 gold.
Let the organ notes ring out from the Abbey. The sisters are gathering.
That doesn't look like a man-at-arms. They really want to give me Grandpa's hanky, and I don't appreciate it, actually. Ooh, the musket ball, though, I do appreciate. A little extra cash on hand, so I'm just upgrading some abilities. That should be sufficient. Yeah, 2 long champion missions back to back. I go hard. What can I say? I can't believe it took me that long to figure out I could just shift click and get a full stack. I guess I just kind of like the gold noise. Well, honestly, if we run into people who can input... Well, I'll take some anyway.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
So here's a secret. A Darkest Dungeon secret from me to you. secret is, the frontliner is not actually any more liable to take damage than a backliner. So, a composition like this where there isn't really a dedicated tank is perfectly fine. Characters with lots of HP are nice, but they're not like intrinsically more survivable, because there's not really a good way to actually make sure that they get hit.
Eradicated.
It's good to have a healer. This much I will admit. However, it's not strictly necessary. Like, on longer missions, you're probably going to need one just because of attrition. But for shorter missions, or missions where you really want a specific composition, just take the best people for the job.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light? The light, the promise of safety.
Gifford, please. Marcy, please! I don't want to die to spiders, that's just embarrassing.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
That's more like it.
Destroyed. A death by inches. Obliterated. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay. Time for everybody's favorite game of I wish we had more inventory space. Maybe I'll regret this, maybe I won't. Yeah, the Houndmaster has a self-heal that just hugged the dog. It's quite potent, too.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Unholy Hater is sort of
Packs
wasted on
laden
jesters,
with loot
because
are
most
often low
unholy
on
enemies
supplies.
don't bleed.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
We'll need to go this way eventually, so no use putting it off.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. The will to fight falters.
Masterfully executed.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Stop giving me all the gold! Ah, God.
In Radiance, may we
Want
find
to buy
victory.
pack upgrade?
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Ah, the big slime.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Gifford doing work in the back lines.
prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
In my opinion, going back to an earlier discussion, I think that the bounty hunter also has a place at the best class in the game table.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Well, we could probably get away with camping.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Put some buffs on, free up some inventory space.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
It's nice to be able to pick things up.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Decimated.
He had a dog on his head, therefore, dog was mad.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. A decisive pummeling.
Also, just uppercut has like my favorite animation in the game. Just punching a dude has some appeal in this game where you attack with all of these like weird edgelord weapons.
Quakes.
A bandage you shall have.
Their cursed champion falls.
once more with gusto. Sadly, just punching a dude doesn't always work.
Precision and power. Annihilated.
Get fucked, idiot!
Exposed to a killing
Ow!
blow.
Now I am the one getting fucked in as an idiot.
Monster's size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Alright, time for the great backtracking.
Impressive.
Hey, bleed.
The wounds of war can be healed,
Oh, come on!
but never hidden.
Don't do this thing to me.
A momentary abatement. Mortality clarified in a single strike. A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Things are never uninteresting when the occultist is your primary healer.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Maybe camp again when we're closer to the next room. We are in a bit of a spot of bother. Goodness knows I've had enough mishaps in Champion Wheel dungeons that I want to play it safe. It's fucking man-at-arms, man.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
No, don't say that. Do not like dog would actually literally lick your wounds.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I don't want a battle ballad here.
A brilliant confluence
Most of the enemies in this configuration are quite annoying. Sort of did that in the wrong order, but it's whatever. My cultist stress is within acceptable parameters. I want to focus instead on actually killing things.
A powerful blow. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. A devastating blow.
Nobody got cursed.
This expedition at least promises success.
I call that a successful battle. Interestingly enough, we haven't really run into any of the problem enemies in the wheels yet. I mean, mosquitoes are always a problem, but they're not exclusive to the wheel.
Struck.
And they're less dangerous and more just, oh my god, this is so annoying.
A singular strike.
it had to happen eventually with 4 mosquitoes.
Inspiration and improvement. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Time to perform beyond one's limits.
I'll go ahead and eat a doggy treat. Get it out of the inventory, make sure that slime dies. Big Slime is still one of the better move names in this game, and there are a lot of good ones.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
The Jester... getting the Crimson Curse is not actually that bad, because I plan to take him into the courtyard anyway, and in the courtyard...
If only treasure could staunch the flow of...
If you don't get cursed, then something is going very wrong.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Probably one of the smoother missions to the champion level wield that I've had. It's not been without mishap, but... nobody died. Yet.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Oh, here's a giant man. This could be trouble. Confusion spores aren't actually that bad for this party. They're pretty versatile. Houndmaster doesn't do a lot of damage up front, but
dizzying blow to body
he can
and
be a
brain.
stun bot, which is sometimes just as good. I should probably take this turn to move back, so I can actually use Hound's Rush.
Dazed, reeling, about to break.
Sometimes that happens, and that's why the wield is kind of dangerous. I'm getting a phone call, but I don't know who it is, so fuck 'em. Yeah, I can do big numbers too. The Blighted Crone is very adept at wasting my torches, but not much else.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Regrettably, I don't have enough arms to hold all of these crests. Hopefully we don't have too many more room battles to go. my keys. Oh well, it's not like I can carry this anyway. No, vampire dog. That's more appropriate, I guess. I'm pretty sure I've heard about vampire bounty hunters before. I do recall a fun old book series as a child where there was a rabbit that was a vampire. Banicula, I believe it was called. He would suck the vital juices out of vegetables, which is sort of what you're supposed to do with vegetables, if we're being honest. Everybody's a vampire now! Oh well. Vampirism isn't that debilitating in this game, and we will soon have the means to deal with it permanently. I definitely want this. Can we please be done soon?
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Yeah, fuck that old lady up.
Soothed. Sedated.
That was sort of a wasted crit, because that was just going to bring him to death's door anyway.
Revealed themselves.
Honestly, the fungal claws are kind of way too durable for, like, a rando enemy, in my opinion. They're not difficult or that dangerous, it's just they take forever to kill. The old trot bugaboo. Oh yeah, let's go. Everybody's a vampire and/or on death's door.
The agents of pestilence will
We got
yet
the musket
be
ball,
driven
though.
from our woods.
And 48 crests, holy crap.
A modest offering from those few surrounding farms as yet untouched by the spreading calamity.
Alright, sick. That means I can completely overstock for my next mission. So, we can go to the courtyard. So, for this particular foray, a jester and a flagellant are basically required, because, well, we require sustain, shall we say. I'll bring Renault along too. Because, well, maybe not. Change of plans, bringing the Hellion. I think I'll give her the Flesh's Heart to increase bleed resistance. Well, actually, no, she can cure her own bleed. That doesn't make sense. Alright, so we have the bumper crop. So let's bring literally everything. We'll also want blood, of course. Torches don't need to be used religiously in the courtyard because it's a static 75 light. So we should be fine with what we have. For the purposes of not wasting people's time, I'm gonna open a map real quick, because this is another epic mission. With a huge winding map, and, I'm running out of things to say because I can't find the damn map. Here we are. Okay. It's fucking big in here is what I'm getting at.
Mercifully, the morbid encounter resolved itself in my favor, and I set to work pursuing degeneracy in its most decadent forms. The air pulsed with anticipation as I revealed the unnatural terroir of the house vintage. But my exultation was cut short as the attending gentry turned upon themselves in an orgy of indescribable frenzy. A single drop of that forbidden tannin gifted me with a dizzying glimpse of the hibernating horror beneath my feet, and in that moment, I understood the terrible truth of the world. I stood reborn, molded by newfound knowledge, my head throbbing to the growing wine of winged vermin come to drink the tainted blood of the darkest dungeon.
Grandpa Butt. So yeah, that's how the Crimson Curse got started. For some reason, he thought that would be a really good idea.
Even my untethered imagination dares not conceive of what effect the years spent submerged in toxic sludge may have had on her heteromorphic flesh.
Those rowdy heteromorphics.
Ambushed by foul invention.
So, while the difficulty of this dungeon is technically darkest,
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
it's actually not that much harder than the Viscount's map. The real difficulty comes from the boss.
Precision and power.
Which isn't to say this is easy. The Viscount's dungeon was pretty hard too. It's just... it's not any harder.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Like, I can sort of understand the ancestors' other experiments, sort of. Like, you know, bringing the dead back to life and stuff. That's probably pretty cool. But I just cannot fathom why he thought it would be a good idea to turn the Countess's blood into a wine. It's my blood. You don't get me. Your trinkets are always bad anyway.
A decisive pummeling. Destroyed. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
With the mercurial salve, my Hellion's doing a lot of damage
Great
to
is the weapon
bloodsuckers.
that cuts on its own.
Now, it does suck to leave all of this shit behind, but missions into the courtyard are not about collecting loot. They are about blazing a trail. It is not at all a sustainable business model to go into these epic missions thinking, well, just collect a lot of loot. You will either run out of invitations or your entire roster will get turned into vampires.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Quickly the tide turns.
And while being a vampire is not necessarily a bad thing, having your entire roster be burned through the blood right quick.
Soothed. Sedated. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Now, of course, I am willing to toss some medicinal herbs for firewood. Being able to camp is very nice.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of
I don't believe I have
otherworldly
ever found
corruption.
a use for a key in here. yourself out. Embarrassing. You get the debuff even if you miss.
The blood quickens.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Once more, with feeling.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
I wish those stacked sometimes. But we should be, with all the food we have, we should be pretty good on just longevity.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
With the dazzling mirror, my Vestal has a pretty good shot at actually just always stunning.
Uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
To take out the courtesan as quickly as you can. Midnight Minuet can really fuck you up.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I have a million bandages. There's no reason to hoard them. Chevaliers are slow and pretty easy to hit, so I don't think I need a battle ballad. I'll redeem. I have Punishment's Hood on, so the healing isn't as good, but it's still good. Yourself a song. Calm down. In epic quests like these, the main priority is just maintaining. You don't necessarily need to be stingy with resources, you just need to use them in such a way that lets you keep going for as long as possible.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Basically, every week you go into the courtyard and do an epic mission and don't complete it is a week that's kind of been wasted. All of the heroes that you sent will be stressed out, you won't get any rewards for it, aside from what you brought back. I don't know what that does. It might be like a scout? Does it give a buff, maybe? Esquire is actually much less dangerous when they use the thirst. They can't do skewering repartee, which just demolishes you. Kind of a waste, but I need him dead.
Decimated. A time to perform beyond one's limits.
sure if these guys can revert back to normal after they have turned into buggy form. I've never seen it happen, I don't think. But I could be mistaken.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Alright, according to the map, we want to go down. I'll save that for later in case I need a stress heal after the next battle. There have been an unfortunate number of surprises. And this is a fairly dangerous enemy group, so we'll just have to do what we can. I think camping might be in my future.
Ears, blurred vision, the end approaches.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Unlike the Esquires, the Courtesans are pretty dangerous in bug form.
well struck.
They actually have other moves than just the thirst. Like the utterly disgusting renewed appetite.
Obliterated. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay, this chest contains a key, so we're gonna camp to free up an inventory slot.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship. A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Okay, thanks to camping, we're in pretty much the same shape we were as we left off.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Extra food is always useful because you can use it as an out-of-battle heal. Set my formation back properly. Fucking come on. Got to be some sort of record for most random ass surprise attacks.
Annihilated.
Alright, we're more or less back to normal. I'm more than happy to just soak up his munches. The ghoul is the much bigger threat.
prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Oh, he heard me say the ghoul was the much bigger threat and he got upset.
Eradicated. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
It's a bunch of broken wood. We still have, like, a ridiculous amount of food, so I'm okay with doing that.
Dazed, reeling, about to break. A singular strike.
Like yesterday, I think that I will try to reach the boss in this particular dungeon, and then probably call it a day. This isn't a permanent state of affairs, it's just because, you know, 4.3 is new, and people are playing it, and I want to play it. Whenever they say, I am the blood god or whatever, I imagine them doing it in the whole Nick Cage and Vampire Kiss movie, and the way he runs around screaming, I'm a vampire!
A dizzying blow to body and brain.
These guys are just, I'm a blood god!
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I wish the stress bar was a little bit more indicative of how much stress a person actually had. It's not the most accurate measurement. If you really want to know, you kind of have to go in and look
This
yourself.
expedition at least promises success.
I think I will toss the bandages for the jute, because jute is really valuable. That's stress relief. I might save that for later in case we need it. I have a feeling that might be a distinct possibility.
Grievous injury, palpable fear.
I'll just bandage that up right quick. Alright, well, he's dead next turn no matter what, so I can just sort of dick around. I was gonna choose Inspiring Tune, but I guess that also works.
A trifling victory.
Let me get this fucking key out of my
but
inventory.
A victory nonetheless.
Finally. Alright, I was just checking the road map, as it were.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Honestly, it's fine. The flatland absorbed it. That's probably the biggest threat taken care of. The Chevalier can do a lot of damage, but he sort of needs time to do it.
Inspiration and improvement.
That's unfortunate, though. Maybe I should have done the Healy thing.
A devastating blow.
Oh, okay, good. I have a chance to act before he dies.
And now the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
Since the Flagellant has no death door as penalty, and he will actually heal the rest of the party every time he goes to death's door, this situation where he just keeps going back and forth is borderline beneficial. Oh my god, die!
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Are you kidding? This is like, what, the 5th one?
Blow.
On the bright side, the supplicants aren't dangerous no matter how many buffs they get, so...
Unnerved, unbalanced.
I'll probably take the liberty of using another one of my firewood once this fight is over. I am having bad luck with the surprises, though. At some point, my pack of adventurers here would recognize some sort of pattern. camp.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
Buffing the Hellion is always a solid course of action. What's in the box? Nothing I don't already have. I guess I'll take the bleed amulet. It is of some utility in this dungeon. Well, at least we got the initiative on this fight, but I hate this fucking fight so much. The 4 manservants are just, actually the worst. They never die. Because they will just keep using infallible servitude on each other. And they'll do bullshit like that. I hate it. Holy shit, dude. Give me like 5 seconds to give you the blood. Goddamn fucking maniac. I mean, I guess when the flagellant says it, it's not as weird, but it's still pretty weird.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
How one goes about dodging that. Just remembering sticks and stones may break my bones. sure I had this. It doesn't really matter that much. Kiss. That's what makes you happy, dude.
Their cursed champion falls.
I have 12 antivenoms, I might as well. Now, there is a school of thought that might say that there is a benefit to saving this for later. And I think I will.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for
The thing
blood.
is,
Masterfully executed.
firewood that you return to town with in your inventory doesn't, like, stay there. It will be consumed into the ether. But were I to come out and go in again, that pile of wine bottles would still be there to be smashed for firewood. And while I do intend to just carve a path straight to the boss, that doesn't mean that camping buffs don't exist. Courtyard missions are just quite the endurance run. After a while, you just learn how to deal with all the bloodsuckers and stuff. It's just there's so many of them. Sometimes they do bullshit like that. Alright, that's not the most unreasonable thing you could have done. the riposte from skewering repartee is not actually that big of a deal. The real danger of that move is when it hits everybody for 10 damage.
Compassion
That's
is a
when we
rarity
start to have problems.
in the fevered pitch of battle.
More or less what I was gonna do. Oh, more jute. Fuck off, holy water. My life for the fancy tapestry. As interminable as this might seem, we are actually fairly close to done. We will, just for the record, we will probably not fight the Countess with this party. It was built entirely for sustaining purposes, not for actually fighting a boss. We would have to make some adjustments first. The Countess is probably the toughest boss in the game.
The ground quakes.
Alright, evidently I just got the mother of all scouts. And we unlocked a secret room, actually. Hopefully we might find a high-level man-at-arms. That would be real nice.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Alright, that's both major threats down before they got a chance to move. Now we just have to deal with the mosquitoes' interminable bullshit.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Alright, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. We will be going north in time. There's just something we need down here first. Too many people acting involuntarily. It's not as bad as Dipsomania, but, Dark Obsession or Dark Temptation or whatever it's called is almost as bad in here. The AI does not appear to actually know that you cannot guard two entities at once. salvage the vessel before she has a fit.
Festering fear consumes the mind. Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
One more camp, I think.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Get drunk! The game plays kind of a mean trick on you here. For whatever reason, they put the key you need to progress in the middle of a random hallway. My first time through, I spent quite some time looking for it. I eventually had to resort to a map, which I would recommend if you want to play through this yourself. It is not especially very fun to just wander around lost in here for ages. Let's see who is behind door number 1. An antiquarian. Well, that was probably the worst possible result.
Impressive.
Oh no, the hangover. I can hardly even see the manservant. Fucking hell. awfully gross. Chevalier is dead next turn.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
I was just gonna play a song. It could even have been about blood if you wanted. Oh, nice.
Finding
That
the stuff
completes
is
the
only
set.
the first test. Now it must be carried home.
This room always has a Crimson Court set trinket. Eat my entire ass. Rapidly running out of things to say about these situations. Except that I wish they would stop happening.
of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Okay, that's the Countess up there. Let's go ahead and move to this room and then regroup back in the hamlet, then come back in and kill her shit in.
Where there is no peril in the task, there can be no glory in its accomplishment.
Given that we spent nothing on provision, this is a fine reward. Now we just need to assemble a crack
Finally,
team.
the serum is working, and the side effects are manageable.
Alright, so for the Countess, we absolutely want a highwayman. In fact, I sort of want to bring two. Just thinking about who else I want to bring. A healer of some variety is necessary. God, I really wish I had a man-at-arms. That's just all there is to it. Alright, let's go ahead and... No, he's not even that... Oh, this actually has a unique name, that's funny. As always, Dismas gets his head. I'm still going in prepared for a hell of a fight, but, you probably don't need as much food. Alright, well, I guess we have to sit through this first. Seriously? Alright, this is an extremely glass cannon comp. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna work.
Anomalous in aspect, and bent on exacting terrible revenge from beyond the bounds of decency.
But yeah, this is the Countess. She has 400 fucking health.
Masterfully executed.
Alright, this is by far her most debilitating move. Sway with me. He gives everybody, like, the most possible stress ever. Her other main mechanic for this phase is these parasitic eggs that she puts on you. They will, come forth. It's sort of random when they burst. this is why I gave my healer Wilbur's flag.
Soothed. Sedated.
She likes to, stun.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Basically, she gets 1 round of 4 actions in her, big scary form, and then she goes back to her normal form.
The blood quickens. A death denied. For now. Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Well, rational's not good.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Also, I don't think I've hit a single... whatever. Fuck off, dude! I've never actually seen Metamorphosis hit. Alright, I used my Aegis scale to... avoid the damage, is what I'm trying to say.
Behold, the abyss is made manifest.
Oh yeah. Well, everybody is afflicted. That's great. isn't working out quite how I wanted it to.
Impressive.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
Well, I'm out of Aegis scales, which is unfortunate, but I'll deal.
And now, the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
I think Sydney just died because Dismas said something mean.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
I gotta take risks if I'm gonna win this.
Death cannot be escaped, but it can be postponed.
I actually find that this is her least dangerous form.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Though she can do that, which fucking sucks.
A momentary abatement. A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Are you kidding? Are you actually fucking kidding me?
More blood soaks the soil. feeding the evil therein. Where I failed, you have succeeded. And the world is better for it.
Christ alive. Alright, well, we won. I lost 2 perfectly good characters for basically nothing. Literally, Dismas was too much of an asshole for them to live.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Oh well, it happens, but the Countess is dead. And I did not lose any characters I don't have a replacement for.
The rusted, moss-covered gates of the courtyard hang open, but the demoniacal pests will spread no further than its blood-soaked boundaries. And so, at last, the end of my beginning.
Alright, so everybody's cured of the Crimson Curse. If anybody happens to get infected again, if we go adventuring into the courtyard for whatever reason, we can just cure it in the sanitarium. Who's on this stagecoach? Well, we need a new Vestal.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
Alright, well I think that's good for a day's work. I literally could have done that fight without losing a character. If just like 1 or 2 things had gone a little bit better. If Zelen hadn't constantly gotten shuffled to the front. If that one move proc had gone off. Ugh. Whatever. Oh, thanks for watching, everybody. We killed the Countess! But next time, we can do something else.